Welcome, brave listeners, to a place where fear finds its final destination, where the line between fiction and reality fades into a shadowy blur. You've stepped into a world where your deepest anxieties come alive, not just in the recesses of your imagination, but in the very fabric of the stories you're about to hear. In this journey, the tales you'll encounter are more than just words. They're whispers in the dark, echoes of dread that linger long after the last note fades. As you listen, you'll find yourself questioning what's real and what's not, for in this place, the ordinary transforms into the extraordinary, and the familiar becomes something unsettling. So, as you settle in, remember this: you're not just a listener, you're a participant in the unfolding of fear. If you're ready to cross the threshold into a world where the unknown reigns, then let's begin. And before we dive in, if you enjoy what you hear, be sure to subscribe so you never miss a tale. Like, share, and invite others to join us in the shadows, because fear is always better when it's shared. This story was first posted at creepypasta.org by user the_quiet_1 The Beeper Man Part 2. He groaned, rolling over in bed. So you'll get up at the crack of dawn on a Saturday for television but not on a school day, can I? Ugh. Yeah, go ahead. Thanks. Can you make me pancakes too? Ah, sure, Angel. Thanks. She sprinted out of the room, and just a few moments later he heard the television going. After another minute or so of contemplating his life while he lay there, he was dragging himself out of bed, putting on the same raggedy morning outfit as the day before to make his daughter some pancakes. He walked down the hall, yawning and stretching his arms when he paused. He looked into Millie's room, up at the smoke detector. After just a few more seconds, it beeped again. Jaron stared at it with a raised eyebrow. Had he not replaced the battery yesterday? Surely he did. He had a clear recollection of doing it. He was standing on a kitchen chair while Millie watched and asked questions. It took all of 20 seconds, but he remembered doing it. He walked out into the living area, which was adjacent to the kitchen. He opened up the cupboard with the griddle and pulled it out, plugging it in to let it warm up. "Hey Millie," he said. No response. "Millie, I don't want to have to make you turn off the TV just because you're not talking to me." She paused it, looking back at him. "Yeah, was your smoke alarm beeping at you again last night?" Her eyes widened, her lips seeming to get tighter. After a moment she spoke. "No, why did you say it like that?" "It wasn't beeping, Daddy." He raised an eyebrow. "If you're lying to me, Millie, there are going to be consequences." Then again, why would she lie about something as trivial as this? She sighed, finally speaking again. "Yeah, it beeped again last night. Why did you tell me that it wasn't beeping?" "I don't know, Millie. I just didn't want to. It wasn't scary last night. But you could have told me it was beeping and that you weren't scared. I would have been proud of you. That means you're turning into a big girl." She shrugged. "Can I watch my show again please?" "Yeah, go ahead, I guess." He began pulling out the ingredients to make pancakes, which consisted of some biscuit mix and water mostly, plus an egg and some oil, but that was it. He began stirring them, looking earnestly at his daughter. What was that look in her eyes? Why did she seem suddenly frightened by him asking a simple question? The look on her face seemed too intense, too sincere, to be chalked up to just a 5-year-old being an odd little kid. It seemed to be full of genuine angst, as if just the simple act of asking the question was some sort of bad omen. After feeding her breakfast, Jaron spent a while browsing the internet on his phone, looking at new job listings. He hadn't had any luck finding anything in his area. He really didn't want to have to move at all. So far this house had been good to him, as had their community. They were all so supportive when Margaret died, and they still are. He didn't want to leave that behind. He set his phone down for a minute, staring blankly at the wall. What was he to do? What could he do? His train of thought was interrupted when he heard the faint beep of the smoke detector from down the hall. Well, for starters, I guess I can change the battery again. He had decided to explain the fact that the smoke alarm was still beeping away by assuming that the battery he had pulled out of the pack was a faulty one that slipped past the watch of quality control. No big deal. There were still a few more batteries in that pack he could use. He got up and headed for the junk drawer in the kitchen where he had put the package in. He pulled them out, and went to grab a chair to bring along with him. Millie was still out front of the television. He should probably kick her off, but it kept her occupied while he did his things. Maybe after he changed the battery he could get her to go on a bike ride with him or something. "Daddy?" she said as he walked past her. "Yep. Where are you going with that chair?" "I'm gonna change the smoke detector batteries again. See if I can get it to stop beeping." He heard the television pause, and he stopped in his tracks to look at his daughter. Her teeth were gritted, and she almost looked panicked. "Don't change the batteries, Daddy." "Why not?" The beeping doesn't bother me anymore." "It's okay." "Well, the beeping bothers me. So I'm gonna change them anyway." "I'm glad it doesn't scare you anymore, though." "No, Daddy, you can't." He raised an eyebrow, and nearly raised his voice, too. "Why can't I change them?" She moved her eyes from side to side, as if looking for something. Finally, she looked back at her father. "You just can't, Millie. I don't like that beeping. This is my house, I'm gonna change it. It'll be fine, okay? Please don't, Daddy. If you can tell me why, then I won't." She hesitated before responding. I can't. Then I'm gonna change them." She stood up from the couch, following him down the hall. "No, don't. I won't ask for any candy for 2 days if you don't." 2 whole days. That's a long time. He set the chair down, climbing up onto it with the new battery in hand. "It's fine, Millie. Don't worry about it. Please, Millie, I'm already halfway through with it. Look, I have the old battery out, and here goes the new one. And, see, no more beeping." He looked down at her. The sheer visage of panic that she wore took him off guard. He almost wondered if he should change it back, just to get that troublesome expression off her face. It suddenly melted away, however, and she walked on back to the living room. What the heck was that? He muttered to himself. What the heck was she so concerned about over a simple battery change? Jaron awoke the next morning to the same bouncing motion of his little girl again, all the while she chanted about television. "No. It's Sunday. We've got to get ready for church." I don't want to go to church, though. Mommy always wanted to make sure you went to church." "We're going to church. But Mommy isn't here." "Exactly why I'm making doubly sure to keep you going to church every week. Now come on. Let's get you showered and dressed in some better clothes. Daddy. It's so boring. Come on, Millie. Let's go." He heaved himself out of his lying position, looking at his pouting daughter. She slumped off to the bathroom, and he heard the shower turn on. "Don't forget to leave it unlocked. If you slip in there, I need to be able to come and help you." "I know." He sat there a moment, staring blankly at the wall. He rubbed his eyes as he took another yawn before finally stepping out of bed. "Time for me to get ready too, I suppose." He turned his head to the side, looking out his door. After a few moments, he heard it again. A gentle beep. "The heck?" he murmured. "I've changed the dang batteries twice." He stepped out of his room and headed down the hall, the beeping noise getting louder and louder as he approached Millie's room. He looked up at the smoke detector and watched the light flash and the alarm beep again. Why isn't this working? He sat in church that day staring blankly ahead, not really catching much of the sermon. His mind was too preoccupied, though it wasn't preoccupied with anything productive at all. He kept mentally kicking himself for being so fixated on the smoke alarm. He should have been fixated on finding a job, or mourning his wife's death, but he couldn't help but fixate on the smoke detector.